well, when he first asked me to be a part of the movie, I asked my friend Pasan, do you know anything about him? And he said, take the role. It's going to be amazing.
You are an actor from English-speaking theatre circle.
Yes. The very small English theatre circle.
Exactly. How has this transition been from English theatre circles to now definitely mainstream?
So this is my first real movie. And I walked in and I said, hello. And then he said, cut. He said, this is not the stage, Dom, so you can tone it down. So
no one would know this about Dominic, that he was actually in news initially.
Well, technically, I wasn't the boss. You were kind of my boss at most times when I wasn't around. We predicted things, Ro, that happened, and it was all-worthy kind of moments. I hate to sound cliche, Ro, but I do prefer the comedy. If you want to be really good at something, you have to dedicate your entire life to it. Like.
Hello and welcome to the debrief with me, Roel Raymond. Today I have with me a very old friend of mine, thespian and now film actor, Dominic Kellar. Hi, Dom.
Hi.
Good to have you on the show.
Nice to be here.
And good to see you after so long.
Roel, you're looking great.
Oh, thank you so much.
For all these years that we have not seen each other.
Yes.
Time has been kind.
Yes, thank you very much. And you're looking the same.
Thank you. That's what
Nothing
I want.
has
That's
changed.
what I want to hear. Yeah.
Okay, let's start with, I actually wanted to bring you on to talk about your new film, Alborada.
Yes.
Can you tell me a bit about the film? What's your role in it?
Excellent. So, Alborada, or The Dawning of the Day, is a movie about Pablo Neruda, the famous Chilean poet, who lived in Sri Lanka for 3 years, close to 3 years. He was the Chilean ambassador. So at that time in the 30s, Chile was sending out personalities to be ambassadors in other countries. So actors, poets, musicians were all...
It's a good strategy.
Yeah, it was. So Neruda was sent to Sri Lanka to be the Chilean ambassador. And the movie was about his time here in Sri Lanka and specifically about one incident that happened.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't know this. Not only do they not know that Pablo Neruda was here, but there was also an incident of rape, which a lot of people are not aware of. So if we watch this film, we will know all about it. Do we know when the film...
The film will most probably be banned in Sri Lanka due to its content, and of course Ashoka Handagama is famous for pushing the boundaries, which is amazing. But it will be available, I'm sure, for people to see online, but we don't know yet when.
This is a technical question, but will you all be pushing for Netflix? I think that's a good thing to do.
I'm hoping so. We've spoken about it, but we don't have any information yet, but yeah, that would be great actually.
That would be really good,
Yeah, it would, yeah.
Okay, let's switch to Ashoka Handagama.
Yes.
Now, what was your experience like working with him?
Ashoka is amazing because a lot of people have this impression about him that he's this very serious director. But to be very honest, he's a very laid-back, relaxed kind of guy. He allows you to do a lot of things that you want to do. The first time I was, when he first asked me to be a part of the movie, I asked my friend Pasan, do you know anything about him? And he said, take the role, it's going to be amazing. But I said, is he easy to work with? He said, go meet him. And I met Ashoka, and he's a fabulous guy to work with. And we had no problems whatsoever. And yeah, I think the direction the movie went in also was something that I was looking for. So yeah.
Okay, and your role is that of?
So I play the role of Lionel, but it's not revealed in the movie per se, but he is Lionel Wendt. And the ironic part about all of this is that when Neruda was in Sri Lanka, he met Lionel Wendt and they built this relationship over time that he was here, and he was sort of his best friend while he was in Sri Lanka. There's very little literature about any of this, very little history being written down. But from what we know and what we've researched, they were very close.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that film, and also I think maybe Ashoka can do this later. There's this guy called Donald Friend, who's an artist here, an Australian guy who also like sort of I think it was a rape of young boys, and he's written it in his diaries, and it's on display.
So this is exactly what Ashoka said. He said he was reading Neruda's Memoirs, and there's a chapter about Sri Lanka, and he talks about this incident, which is clearly rape.
Yeah.
But he talks about it so lackadaisically that he thought, well, this is something that needs to be. And at the time, I think it was a year or two ago, but Chile was going to name their national airport after Neruda. And there were these like countrywide protests about it because he's not the great guy they thought he was.
That's the thing. So this sort of thing sort of happened, molestation, rape and stuff, especially in a country like Sri Lanka, and we didn't know about it till, of course, we read their diaries and memoirs.
Very true.
So I hope he hones in on that as well. Now to sort of circle back to you, you are an actor from English-speaking theatre circle.
Yes. The very small English theatre circle.
Exactly, a very small English-speaking theatre circles, and strangely enough, the Lionel Wendt is your stomping ground.
Absolutely.
For many, many years.
Irony.
Yes, irony. How has this transition been from English theatre circles to now definitely mainstream?
So this is my first real movie. I mean, I've been extras in a couple of other movies, but this is my real first part in front of the camera. It was challenging. It was because in theatre it's all about being bigger than life and projecting, and so these subtleties, of course, it's now understood. I think everyone knows that, but you have to be super subtle, and perhaps that communication with your director will tell you that this is how the shot's going to look like, and this is how big you can go and how small you can go. And so at the beginning it was the first scene I shot was this dinner scene, and I'm supposed to approach from inside of the house, and I walked in and I said, hello, and then he said, cut. I said, this is not the stage, Dom, so you can tone it down. So yeah, it is, but once you get used to it, it's just like having a regular conversation, I suppose, and the camera just picks you up. Yeah.
Have you fallen in love with the process? Because it's a new process.
It is, but it is also not new for me because I've done a lot of commercials, so there's a lot of that going on where you stop, start, and you change camera angles and all that. This is actually a lot easier because once scene is set, it shoots right through until they change it. So whereas in a commercial, it's very difficult. It goes on for hours. We're shooting from different angles, and it's a little ridiculous. But I'm not in love with the process.
No.
It's a lot of sitting around and waiting, and that's what people don't realize about acting in movies is there's a lot of waiting for you to go on, and then you're supposed to switch on immediately.
Bit frustrating.
Yeah, it's challenging.
Okay. How long was the whole process, the shoot?
So we shot in 2020 during the gap between the two lockdowns, after the main lockdown where we had curfew, and then the October lockdown. So we shot in June and July, but we shot the whole thing on set in Tangol, on this deserted beach where we built this house. It's supposed to be in Vellavatta where he lived.
Oh, okay.
And we were set up at a hotel close by. So it was just hotel location there. Nothing to do there. It's only your only your footprints on the beach.
Nice.
That kind of seclusion. Yeah.
So 2 months.
About 2 months, yeah. But I used to come back to Colombo and go because I had work.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. How did you manage?
I'd shoot a couple of days and then shoot on the weekends. And they were very flexible with me, so that was easy. But some people stayed there right throughout.
Yeah. So I've heard, like, I think some films, if it's a year long, even they'll go and camp out.
This is the thing. It's a big commitment in a large part of your life that you dedicate to this if you're truly into this.
Yeah. Are you recovering from it and then we'll go back into it? Or?
I'll do it from time to time, if it's fun.
Okay, let's talk about your role again. Okay. You are cast as, like you said, Lionel Wendt. Not really a white guy, but definitely with that sort of lineage.
Yes.
Are you worried that you will be typecast?
I was super happy to play Lionel Wendt because very few people know anything about this man, and most of them that do are already really old or have already died. So there's very little first-hand information, and he was a very private person. There's only about 4 or 5 photographs of him online. That's it. And those photographs are used for everything. So he's always a behind the cameras, very shy person. There is a documentary available on him, shot by him. So I watched that. And he speaks with a kind of voice like that. And so I tried to kind of mimicked that. But I didn't push it. I didn't try to be exactly like Lionel Wendt. I grew my hair out. I wore the specs. I tried as much too. It's difficult when you're playing an actual person, as you know, because you've got
can't deviate too much.
Yeah, and you've got to give them that kind of the respect it deserves.
Cool. I think you must have done it justice.
I hope so.
Really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to when I got to know you. It was sometime in 2008, 2009.
2008.
Yes, and
young, vibrant journalists that we were. Yeah.
Exactly, like I was telling the team here, we started off in a newsroom together. Dom was my first news boss. No one would know this about Dominic, that he was actually in news initially.
Well, technically, I wasn't the boss. You were kind of my boss at most times when I wasn't around. That's a different conversation.
No, you were head of news. And then when you left, I took over.
Yes, I remember.
I took over officially. So, but at that point, you and a lot of other people I knew were just these theatre kids, sort of, you know, bumming around all the time, always after work going to the theatre.
Doing part-time work.
Exactly. Trying to do this sort of thing. And I think it was Pusswedilla that really pushed you into stardom.
Absolutely.
How was, what do you think it was about Pusswedilla that made it so what's the word? Not even acceptable, but so admired
and fascinating to people, I suppose.
Exactly.
Pusswedilla started off as a character in another play done by Feroz Kamardin, and he was such a popular character that when we did Pusswedilla Part 1, it was just a test the waters kind of a thing. But Feroz is such a brilliant writer, and he's so in tune with the political system in the country that his jokes just hit home, and just people kept coming back for more. And there was so much, the entire corrupt political structure, there was so much that he could write about. We predicted things, Ro, that happened, and it was all-worthy kind of moments where we put Pusswedilla's face on a 1,000 rupee note, and the next year the president's face was on a 1,000 rupee note. You remember those blue notes? I still have one of those. Lovely. Nice. So little moments like that. So I think that's what people really loved about it. And also he created these characters around certain politicians and changed their names around. So
and also I think that was also your first foray from like proper English, because the English theatre tends to do very British productions, or American productions,
farces and all that kind of thing.
All of these things, and then you get this sort of hybrid singular English and a larger audience.
Yes.
And now you've transitioned to an actual mainstream audience, which is great.
Yeah, that's very true. I think that was another real selling point for Pusswedilla, that everyone could watch it, everyone could understand it. It was Singlish, as you said.
Yes.
It was very popular.
Now I'm going to ask you about your mum.
Oh, great. She'll love it.
Strange question, but how does your mom feel now that your hobby and this part-time thing you are doing has become so successful and lucrative?
Mum's always been very supportive. Mum's the person that pushed me into theatre in the first place. When I was about 9 or 10 years old, she made me join the Mary Ann Singers because she knew I had this love for performing, I suppose. My father, of course, wanted me to be a sportsman, so much to his dismay, it didn't work out his way. And it just took off from there. Yeah, she loves the fact that I was in this movie and that I played Lionel Wendt. I think that was something that...
And also, now with this role, it's a bit of a serious role compared to, I mean, you've done comedic roles
very serious,
before. Which do you prefer, the comedy roles or the serious ones?
I hate to sound cliche, but I do prefer the comedy. It's what I suppose comes naturally. And it was very tough for me also not to kind of be comedic in this role as Lionel Wendt. Lionel Wendt, I don't think there's ever a picture of him smiling. Like, he never smiled. He was a very serious man. So I had to kind of bring that on. But yeah, comedy is something that I think I gravitate towards.
So to sort of what's the word now? I'm losing words. To divert a little bit, I was watching Sofia Vergara, some interviews of her. I'm a huge fan, right? And she was saying, I love her. She's so funny, right?
Yeah, she's funny. Yeah.
She's very funny. And she's like, why would I want to act in a serious film? You know, if I'm doing comedy, I'm always laughing, and you go back happy, and you're always happy.
Yeah, that is true.
That is true, right?
That is true. That is true. We had such a lot of fun doing Pusswedilla, and we got so close, the entire crew, and we were laughing right throughout the entire process. So, yeah, it is.
It's a good vibe.
It's a good vibe. Yeah, it is.
Okay, so now I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't typecast you or think of you as an overly ambitious type, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
I'm very tired of very ambitious people. I'm serious. So, as a not very overly ambitious type of
Some
person.
people might call that lazy, but yeah.
No, I know you well enough to not call you that. It's not laziness, it's very chill. Dom is a very chill person.
Yeah, true.
So as a not overly ambitious type,
Mm-hmm.
what are your future plans? For instance, I know a lot of actors and actresses would be about, oh, I want to take it international, I want to go to Hollywood next, Hollywood
Yeah.
next, Bollywood next,
Yeah,
whatever, right?
yeah.
I'm not saying you'll turn down a role if it came to you, but
Yeah.
what are your plans in terms of what would you like to do?
I'm not looking for anything international. I mean, look, you really, if you want to be really good at something, you have to dedicate your entire life to it. Like Muttai Muralidharan who didn't become the world's greatest spinner by just being born with talent. Like you spend every moment of your life, and that's not what I do. I have other roles. I'm a radio presenter. I have family. I have people to look after. I have other responsibilities. So I've never really looked at, I'm going to drop all of this and pack my bags and go to Hollywood kind of a thing. You have to be realistic, I suppose, in life.
No, it's very refreshing. I really mean it. Because
Yeah.
people get caught up in this whole ambition thing.
Yeah.
And then quality of life is lost, and then people around them suffer.
And then you're 50 years old and you're sitting back and you're thinking, I missed out on all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, the quintessential question, who's going to look after you when you're old?
This is the thing.
This is something I always have at the back of my mind. So tell me, but okay, forget the Hollywood, Bollywood, whatever.
Yeah.
If you could put all of your skills and talents together and your experience together, is there something along those lines? Well, let's say, I'm being very cliche, but theatre school, theatre camps, anything you would do along those lines?
Yes, actually I've been thinking about that also, to try and kind of pass on the knowledge to the next generation. It is something that myself and a couple of other friends have been thinking about as well. That it's about time we started.
Yes,
kind
give
of
yourself a five-year goal.
And perhaps look at, thing is, this country is such a difficult place to start a business in at the moment, you know.
Correct.
So I don't know if it's the right time, and these conversations did happen pre-COVID and pre-Easter Sunday bombs. So right after 2019, things just, and all those ideas have been shelved now. But it might be, looking forward, perhaps it might be something that will be interesting to do, just to get the kids involved, and have
and I mean, you have things
impart
to
some
give back.
knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any future productions, any theatre things that we need
Theatre
to
is shut down at the moment. The last play I went for was, I forget what it was called.
There was one
Shanaka was in it.
very briefly.
Very fun play. Anyway, it's not the point. But it was social distance seating. So you're only allowed to sell 50% of your... So really, how much money are you making, and what's the cost benefit you're gonna losing? So nothing's happening. Nothing really is happening at the moment. Everything's digital now. So it's on YouTube. It's like doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah, true,
That is
and that's an area you can really explode on yourself.
Yeah.
Because the
Buy
talent
myself
exists.
a camera. Yeah.
It's quite easy, man. If I can do it, you can. Okay, I'm not even the actor here. You can totally do this.
Cool. Guys, all are available. We'll talk.
Exactly. You should do it.
Yeah.
I think I need to push you a little bit.
Thanks. Yes, that's what I need. Yeah.
I will push.
Thanks.
So that's that. Very fun, quick interview. I'm happy to have you here. I'm looking forward to Alborada, looking forward to look at it.
Yes.
Thanks, Dom, for coming, and really good to see you.
You're very welcome. Nice to be here. Fun.
Yes.